Hey, I'm going to talk about Church of the Messiah. You want to come with? About 10 years ago, Church of the Messiah was a total ministry congregation. And they were the first in the Diocese of Michigan that understood this, that discerned this clearly. About probably 5 years into it, they discerned that while the model was working, they weren't necessarily doing what God needed them to do in their context. So in other words, they got really good at reading context really quickly. They discerned, basically through the leadership of Barry Randolph, who they call Pastor Barry, that they needed to allow what was happening in Messiah to continue happening, but start a brand new thing alongside it. And they called it the Good News Service. And they were worshiping probably around 40 people every Sunday. Within, I think, a year and a half, they blossomed to about 100. Within 2 to 3 years, it became 200. This little seed of an idea, which was to develop a service that speaks to inner city youth, became this almost overwhelming ministry. Barry decided to quit his job, so he no longer worked full-time. He still worked with a team of people, but he focused all of his energy into Church of the Messiah. He surrendered everything to the mission. A lot of people went along with him. Lots of different things are going on at Church of the Messiah. One of them is what they call Aim High, centered towards young adult African-American men who need a sense of community. And what they tend to do is play basketball. Coach Terry, who not only teaches them basketball skills, but they pray together, they talk about the Bible together. What other ministries are there? Community garden, oh yes. Yeah, okay, yeah, here we go. All right, a lot of them I can talk about. That is not necessarily a ministry, but I call it a ministry anyway. That's the Makerspace, which is a movement across the country that isn't a church movement. It's a way for technologically inclined folks to teach inner city youth skills. And so someone from MIT came, what was his name? It's going to come to me in a second. Anyway, this gentleman came to Pastor Barry and said, you know, you've got a lot of youth congregating here. What if we put a makerspace in your basement? And so they have all these computers, and they have musical instruments, they have bikes that they've put in. So there's all these ways that all these kids are now learning skills. And it's not so much about getting a job as it's about developing a sense of confidence and a sense of love for self and a sense of respect and a sense of accomplishment. So that's another what I would call ministry of Church of the Messiah. So really what it boils down to is that Barry and Tamika and Craig and Veronica and Terry and the leadership, all the leadership folks at Church of the Messiah really understood that who most needed to hear God's hope were the youth in the city of Detroit. They believe in these kids. They believe in telling them that they matter, that God loves them, that they have value, and that there's no reason that they shouldn't be upheld as beloved children of God. And they empower them, they give them skills, they involve them in the congregation and in the worship of the congregation and in everything that they do. Excellent.